action. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Rest Round Bets. I think that might be the first time we officially called it that, but we're going to see how it flows off the tongue. We were just saying off camera how we're surprisingly, actually, it shouldn't be that surprising anymore because, Nick, you've been hot for a few weeks now, but I've been hot for.
Perfect for multiple weeks in a row. That will come to an end this week based on how I have some picks.
Were you perfect this past weekend?
Yep.
Yep, same for me as well. Minus the Ben Askren pick, I'm not counting it. That was a personal. I just said, hey, all right, well, we got to make a pick.
Reviewed the tape and it came in. The shot clock went off.
No basket.
No basket.
No basket. Didn't count. Yeah. So I went. I think I missed one last week. I went 5-0 this week, hitting my lock. 2 bets were pulled, which were the.
A lot of cut.
Jeremy Stevens and Jeremy Stevens by TKO. Those were pulled, but I think we know how that fight would have went, which I don't think we talked about on the show. What about an ultimate bitch move by Drakkar Klose, which don't get me wrong, if he actually got injured, that really fucking sucks.
I think he got a concussion, dude.
Is it? No, he said it was like he said he felt like something popped out of place or something. It wasn't.
I thought it was like whiplash. And then it was a concussion. Am I reading that wrong? Maybe
I don't know. What I thought it was, he's like, oh, I thought he like messed something up in his spot. He's like, oh, he pushed me and I felt something was off right away and I knew I couldn't compete. And it was like, I don't know if it was serious or not, but the way it came off was so much like he assaulted me. This man hurt me. It's like, bro, it's fight promotion. Like this shit happens like that. You can't mark that as like people being like, Jeremy Stevens just fucking assaulted a man and took his paycheck and everyone's calling the other guy a bitch. It's like, dude, he shoved him at weigh-ins and the guy just didn't show up for a fight.
People saying that they shouldn't go face-to-face at weigh-ins are high.
Yeah.
Those people are smoking tons of meth.
Yes, because it's just like, come on.
That's the fight game, baby.
Yeah, exactly. If the guy can't handle a shove from the other guy at the weigh-ins,
get out of the kitchen.
Then yeah, you shouldn't
have been in the fight. Get out of the kitchen, bro.
So, I'm pissed he didn't wait until the fucking bell rang to push him and give him the concussion, because then I would have been a perfect 7-0. But we're here today to break down UFC. What is it, 262?
Yeah, I believe so. I'll have you know also, by the way, folks, that as I'm doing this, since we've been tracking this, I'm pulled it up right now. I'm up a clean 22 units.
Damn. I had a nice little 8.5.
Gas. Of course, not up that much in real life because obviously the one week I forgot to bet like 7 bets, but
all of them hit. Yeah.
Yeah. But here we are.
Hey, you know what? That sometimes happens, but hopefully we're going to keep this going. Hopefully the new name does not jinx us. Nick, how many bets do you got today?
I actually have 3. I was only going to have 2, which I got kind of a weasel week this week, but I added a third one late, which you'll see. You'll understand the people will need an explanation for the rhyme and the reason.
All right. Well, I guess I'll get started because I have 4. My first one is coming in a pretty depressing fight just because every fight nowadays with Chris Weidman is a depressing fight because he's going to lose to Uriah Hall. It sucks because this is a rematch where I think Weidman beat the shit out of Uriah Hall. Yes. And it's not necessarily that I think Uriah Hall has become a better overall mixed martial artist than Chris Weidman, which he has gotten a lot better. It's just more of a fact that
I don't know about that.
Chris Weidman is shot. He's just done. And when he especially his body, we go with him in the gym all the time. There's just guys that rely on their physicality. Like they got to be the ones that smash you. They got to be the ones that are stronger than you. They got to be the ones that could take a punch harder than you can. And Chris Weidman can't do that anymore. He can't be the guy and he can only be the hammer, and he's not good at being like an evasive nail. And so he's gonna go in there and try to be the hammer and get fucking knocked out. Yeah. So Uriah Hall plus 105. I think.
Oh, plus 105. So that's my first pick. I had it at plus 110. Oh. This I was gonna leave off of my. So feel free to bump your odds up just for the sake of adding stat padding. This is the one that I was going to leave off. I looked at it. I thought about it. I was looking at it all week. I wasn't going to put it on. The reason that it's going on my card is because in the last 48 hours, I have seen more Chris Weidman interviews about how he's 2 fights away.
Oh,
I'm going to
God.
win the belt. I'm going to defend it again once and retire. Like, first of all, on what planet are you beating Israel Adesanya? Because it's not Earth.
No.
This, I obviously their fight was like, I think it was Chris Weidman's like 4th fight, 3rd or 4th fight
It was a
against Uriah
long
Hall.
time.
Like
Yeah.
it was way back in the day. Like you said, he's shot completely. But that said, Uriah Hall is also prone to extraordinary mental lapses.
Yes.
Where he just
Forgets how to
is
fight.
on Mars.
Yeah.
And just doesn't do anything. So that's why I was going to stay away from this originally. After all these interviews came out, and Chris Weidman, cavalier as can be, about, no, I'm just going to smash Uriah Hall. I'm going to get somehow he's going from Uriah Hall to title eliminator. I'm curious how he thinks that bridge is going to work out, because then the 3rd fight is going to be for the belt, and the 4th one he's going to defend and retire. But that's neither here nor there. We're not going to get that far. Again, we come back to one of our most reliable betting strategies, which is bet for sorrow. Chris Weidman's just going to get fucking steamrolled. This 4-fight plan is not even, the wheels are going to fall off before the car hits the track.
Exactly. Like the garage doors are going to open, and then all the wheels and the doors.
The engine the trans just drops out the bottom.
Like, well, we're going nowhere. All that fucking work for nothing, because this car is a piece of shit. And it's even more sorrow because it's like a guy that Chris Weidman has beat before, and then it's just like, oh, look how far you've fallen. Like, you steamrolled this guy, and like now he's beating you. So what does that say about you, Chris Weidman? Like, it's time to hang it up. So this one might be the one. Like, I guess he has more fights planned, but this might be the one that wake up call. Like, Chris Weidman, bro, you got to stop looking at fucking the title shot, because
dude, he beat that one Eastern European cat, the other wrestler guy, and he thinks he's ready for like Title Town. It just
makes no
absolutely sense. Crazy. I mean, again, it's a late pick, so I forgot to clarify though. A 1-unit play for me. That's nothing crazy. Like I said, I'm kind of weaseling out on the heaviness of the bets this week. But yeah, I just had to throw that in there after seeing all these interviews. It's just like, come on, this is a no-brainer. This guy's talking about a title shot. He's shop worn for years. He's for sure gonna get laid out.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. That's why I love it. So my next pick. I'm pulling up a quick.
You should probably just run 2 because my last 2 are tied together.
Okay, yeah, my last 2 are tied together as well.
Well,
then I have a lock, so I'll do 2 and then my lock. So I had to pull up Valentina's record because she has one of the all-time back and forth streaks, and you know us, we're sabermetric guys. You cannot turn down a finish to decision streak like Valentina Shevchenko. So her last fight was a decision. Before that, TKO. Before that, decision. Before that, KO. Before that, decision. Before that, sub. Before that, split decision loss. Before that, submission. Before that, decision. Before that, decision loss. It has been back and forth between submission.
Wow, I didn't realize she had that many finishes.
Yeah, it's been because it's everyone. Her last finishes were Caitlin Chokagian, Jessica Ai.
Oh, yeah.
Priscilla Cachoeira, Juliana Pena. And so it's like she's been going back. Everyone, because it's the same thing happened. She goes decision. Everyone's like, how the fuck did Valentina not finish this girl? Then she's like, goes out there, finishes the girl. Plus, it's not like Andrade is the type of girl that's going in there for a marathon. She's going to go in there to try to knock her head off in a round and a half. And when that fails, it's going to get ugly. So Valentina,
you think she's going to put her away like KO, or you think she's going to sub her?
I was tempted to go by KO because it's plus 250. I think people just see she's like a fucking tank, and it's like she doesn't have enough power.
How I feel.
But I think it's like she's going to be so gassed, and it's going to be like, dude, it doesn't matter that she's fucking built. She's just getting beat up at this point.
The other thing, too, is she is going to and I mean, I know she does this with everyone, but just not everyone is as technically proficient as Shevchenko in terms of just like making fights non-fights. But the one it's a very Wonder Boy-esque situation. Andrade is going to waltz right into all of these spinning
Oh yeah.
whatevers, and like she'll walk directly into that shit.
And it's just gonna be like stunned at like, whoa, what, like that fucking kangaroo when it gets punched by that guy that squares up with it, and it's like, what the fuck was that? Like that's gonna be Andrade, like just walking straight in and be like, I didn't expect this head kick. And eventually I think just one's gonna put her out. But just going inside the distance, plus 125. Like when you just see a streak like that, I literally only put that in because I remember from the last time when I put in Valentina by decision, it was because of that. And I was like, oh, okay, I got to keep it going. So there's that. And then to pair with that, I'm going with a parlay because, to be honest, the 3 main event fights, I have all the favorites winning. I don't
Are
necessarily.
we gonna do the same? We might have the same exact play, which
I
would be
have
wild if
Usman,
this.
Wiley, Valentina. Oh, did you do a pity hedge, or I'm going just all 3 favorites plus 130? If you add them, I think minus 150, minus 140,
Yep,
minus 190,
it's plus 130.
plus 130. Just because I think Valentina's the only for sure. Wiley and Usman, I think they're going to get it done. I'm pretty sure they're going to get it done, but I do not like the odds at all. Like I would feel like such a fool if I bet on fucking Usman at minus 400 and then he just gets fucking starched, and it's just like it shouldn't happen. I really don't think it should happen, but there is actually a possibility. I think a lot of people aren't giving Masvidal a snowball's chance in hell, and I think there's more of a chance than we think. So
Yeah.
I'm going with that for my last pick before the lock.
So like I'm also kind of being a pussy this week. Dead ass, and I'm being 22 units up. I'm giving myself the right to call this shot. I couldn't find like I could just take one of the favorites in the main 3 and call that a lock. But like that's a joke. So like I don't have a lock this week. My lock, I guess, would be to do both of these plays because I think that these two paired together is going to profit. And that is the parlay that you just said. Okay. And so on the official scorecard, I'm going to be doing these for 2 units so that we can bump up the arbitrage, I guess, so
Yeah.
to speak. So yeah, you've got the Usman, Val, Wiley, and then you take Rose for 2 units at plus 170 because I think if one gets fucked up, it's actually going to be if there's an upset to be had, it's actually going to be. I really
And I think it's
like.
kind of like I almost want to take it. Like
I
she's got a shot at fucking her up. Like look at what Joanna did, and
And I
Rose
think
is
Rose is a little better at less volume, but slicker.
and a little bit more like not that she has more power that
No,
because
I no, I would say she
there's
does.
more sting to it, So if she
Yeah,
gets into a
she's got
technical, like
pop.
she's very technical, but like there's at least some gusto behind it, not like
Joanna's a lot of
single
volume,
hand.
dude.
Yeah,
Which is why that first fight with Joanna and Wiley was so awesome because they were just both throwing a billion fucking punches. But
exactly.
I
Mhm.
think, like you said, Valentina, I think just wrap that up. I don't really think that there's anything to talk about there. That's at worst, if she breaks the
Mhm.
decision streak or the alternating, and if you were wrong on that although it seems like for about 7 years it's been pretty consistent. If you're wrong on that, like at worst, we're just gonna see her backing up and spinning back kicking Andrade for 25 minutes and put a bow on it. That's a dub. That I want to believe too. I mean, look, I think Usman's just as corny as the next guy, and also having Masvidal as the champ would be hilarious. Uh, like strictly from a comical
Yeah.
perspective too. Um, the the only thing is like I mean, I know they fought like a year ago. If one in that Gilbert Burns fight, outside of getting whacked in the first, what was it, 2 minutes, whatever, outside of getting just whacked right off the bricks,
Mhm.
Usman actually his stand up did look better. Like that
Yes.
his jab looked significantly better. So one, he's gotten better there. Where I think a lot of what Masvidal is going to do still is just try to take his head off.
Mhm.
Not that I think Masvidal's bad. Like he's obviously got really good stand up too. But I think if I had to say who made more noticeable technique improvements, it's been Usman.
Yes.
And so there's that. And then on the flip side of that, if worse comes to worse, I don't know how many people in the UFC can just keep Usman from hugging them.
That's what I
It
think.
seems like an impossible. He literally looks like he's made out of sheetrock.
He's just one of the hardest people to be in the UFC right now, and that like not the most skilled. Like people were saying, like, oh, we were talking like at the gym, who'd win in a fight between Khabib and GSP, and they're just like, oh, Khabib, no question, Khabib, no question, and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, well then who would win in a fight between Usman and Khabib? And they're just like, fuck. Like, oh wait,
Yeah.
you take away the one big. It's like, oh, but this guy's bigger and stronger and can do what
It's
you
also
did.
kind of a hot take. You mean right now they think that?
Khabib versus Usman. Who do you think?
No, Khabib and GSP. In GSP's prime? Or like old ass
Like
GSP with
now, like
hair
kind
right
of now,
now?
like kind of now.
Oh, okay. Different question.
Yeah, closer
I'm thinking
fight.
like the
Although,
GSP that beat BJ Penn. I'm like, that dude looked pretty good.
yeah, no. It would be like now if they were fighting because it was like someone at the gym was like, I really never watched GSP before, like, and he hasn't been training. I'm like, dude, GSP's been training. I'm like, I think it'd be more competitive thing. It does suck that he's older now, so it
Yeah,
wouldn't like
I think that is a huge
the
factor.
only thing because it's like, but dude, can he stop Khabib's wrestling? I'm like, well, GSP is actually closer in size to Khabib than any competitor that's ever fought Khabib in the UFC. You know,
Yeah,
like for once, he's not going to be like, holy shit, I have 15 pounds of muscle on this dude,
right.
you know? And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't matter. I'm like, yeah, well then bring him to Kamaru Usman. Like, do you think Khabib, if he can't just fucking run him up against the cage and take down Usman, you think he's got any shot? I'm like, no, they does not have a chance.
And that's the thing. I
Um,
just don't know that even if Masvidal like hurts him, unless he Ben Askren or Darren Tills him, where it's just boom, he's
yeah.
dead. If he rock, like you saw what happened with Gilbert Burns, it's like you rock him, and once he grabs a hold of you, with even with a in the moment concussion, if he locks his hands, it's like, oh well, he can rest until the round is over
Yeah,
because
you're
he's
done.
just that fucking strong.
He's
So
like,
my point being is then you take So I think that those two are pretty safe. So you take the parlay there, and then you take the thing with Rose because, like you said, I think that Rose is not that I think it's like a Mackenzie Dern esque advantage where it hits the mat, easy sub, but she's a very opportunistic scrambler,
true.
minus the whole getting spiked on her head by Jessica Andrade thing.
She's got the frame for it too. Like she just
Yeah.
seems like a dangerous grappling threat. Just
So
like
if they get in these weird scrambles, if
yeah,
someone gets knocked down or there's some clinch work on the fence and
Mhm.
someone drops to a knee or something, like very opportunistic with jumping triangles, guillotine, like, and she's not afraid to throw that shit up. And so I think that there's potentially some opportunity there. Like you said, she's a lot longer,
Mhm.
a lot more pop, and there's some potential there. So I mean, obviously it's easy to say, oh, the one that the line's the closest has the best chance for an upset, but in this case, I think that that's
It's
true. And
like
so
the
that
matchup too. It just I mean the lines are there for a reason. Usman, yeah, like I think it's a pretty sure thing, but 400 sure thing. It's just too much. That's why I put it in the parlay.
yeah,
I won't feel as much as a fucking pussy being like because there's so much. I mean, there has been a lot of chalk in the UFC lately. It just seems like that's just the way
I
it's
know
kind
we
of
were talking
going.
about that last week.
But sometimes it's ridiculous. It's like Bellator now, so there is a chance. But it should be fun. So now on to my lock of the week comes in the very fun light heavyweight bout in Anthony Smith. I'm blanking on his
You're
name.
putting this on
Anthony
there.
Smith versus Jimmy Crute.
Oh man,
People are I hear people talking. People are ready to count. Everyone's ready to count out Anthony Smith. They said the best he ever looked was against John Jones, and he literally got his fucking teeth beat out by a 40-year-old man.
his teeth are hilarious.
And then he comes back and gets like one win against an unexperienced fighter, and people are like, "Oh, that guy was unexperienced. Of course he beat him." To which I have to say, that's me. I'm everybody. I'm the one saying all those things because Anthony Smith is gonna get his fucking head knocked off by Jimmy Crute. It's just gonna fucking happen. Minus 190. Anthony Smith gonna
Oh,
get more.
it's minus 190.
Yeah, it's just Anthony Smith's done. Like he came back, and
Had his
this is
run.
classic. They gave him a guy he needed to win against, and he went there. He subbed him. Easy fucking win. The guy didn't know what to fucking do on the mat. So Anthony Smith was lied to in his head. He's like, I'm back. The Anthony Smith comeback tour is well on its way. Okay, so we're gonna give him this young up and coming guy that hits harder than fuck against this old 28-16 record. I don't even know if that's it, but it's pretty fucking close. It's
It is
crazy
close. He's
how like
approaching Artem record.
yeah, he's gonna get knocked out. I don't care how much fucking he's a mixed martial artist and he's a warrior. He's gonna get the shit beating out of him. So yeah, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, you got to put it on there. So minus 190. I guess I don't have that much chalk because Uriah Hall plus 110, Valentina plus 125, the parlay that feels like chalk because it is
It's
chalk because it's three
it
chalk in a
is
row.
3 chalk. It's a
But you know what?
box of
Fuck it.
chalk. That's what we call a
Hey,
box of chalk.
we are roaring back. I was up 8.5 units last week, so we
Big week.
are fucking hot. So hopefully we keep that going. But yeah, until next week. Do we have fights next week?
Next
Fights
week
every
is
week, maybe.
Dominic Reyes, I believe.
I was gonna say nothing. I just thought of something, but okay. I guess until next week when we have Dominic Reyes versus some no name.
Yeah, that card fucking sucks. But the one after that is legit. The one after that is the Sandman versus Cody. Or no, who's he fighting? Is he fighting Cody Garbrandt?
No, Frankie Edgar. Is it?
He just fought Frankie Edgar.
No. Sandhagen just fought Frankie Edgar.
That's what I'm saying. That's who's fighting in like 2 weeks.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
hang on. Yeah. Oh, Dillashaw. That's what it is. Even better.
Yes.
That card is loaded. Like this one
I
that's
didn't
coming
realize
up
that
is
was that close.
yeah. No, this one next weekend is a whole lot of ass. But the one after that for UFC at least, first of all, the weekend after that is Anthony Johnson, Yoel Romero on Friday, which will be sick. And then you've got Sandhagen, Dillashaw, Jeff Neal versus Neil Magny, Diego Ferreira versus Gregor Gillespie,
Battle of the Neils. That's fucking awesome.
Diego Sanchez versus Cowboy, Amanda Hebos, Angie Hill, Ben Rothwell's back. Our boy Phil Hawes, fucking superhero Phil Hawes.
Hell yeah.
Back.
Yeah,
that card's like pretty loaded.
All right, guys. Well,
and then we go straight from that into Chandler and Chucky Olives.
All right.
So once we get through this
one more weekend of shit, and then we got, I was gonna say flamers coming up, but wording. We got some fucking heaters coming up. But until next week, you can find us at The Rest Round at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can also find us. You can find me at Broliva MMA, and you can find Nick at _a_guy_and_a_gi. Until next week, peace out, y'all.
Follow along, folks. We hot.
Yes.